Newsfirst, Newsline with Priyantha Jayakody.
And a very good evening to you and a very warm welcome to Newsline Live. We are broadcasting, as we almost always do, live from the Newsfirst studios in Dawson Street in Colombo. And our guest today is somebody who knows a thing or two about the law and the law enforcement. We've particularly got him to be our guest tonight, and he's agreed because of a growing sense of lawlessness in our country. There are bodies floating around and washed up to shore with alarming frequency. Today at the Mount Lavinia courts, somebody fired a gun in open court, and despite the presence of 16 policemen in the court premises, the person who fired the gun apparently got away. That, and then there is all sorts of other claims. Peaceful protesters have been arrested and so on and so forth. So we thought no better a day than to have the presence here of Senior DIG, retired Priyantha Jayakody, with me today. Very good evening to you, SDIG.
Yeah.
Good
evening, Paras.
Thank you very much for coming. Yes. Now then, SDIG Priyantha Jayakody, let's start with the lawlessness.
Yes.
There seems to be, I don't know if I'm imagining it, but then the public out there, the people of our country, can't be imagining it either. There is lawlessness. What's going on?
Yes, for us, you know that our country is undergoing a very crucial period in economically, very crucial even after the independence. This is the most crucial period. We are in trouble and in economically, and it's given a very strong impact on social structure also. That's happened naturally. Because last week I went through the report submitted by UNODC, United Nations Organization of Drug and Crime, and we are having the branch in Sri Lanka also. That's a UN responsible organized for drug and crimes. They publish a research report saying that in year 2008 and 9, when the world economical debacle happened, they did a survey for 15 countries in different geographical zones, and they checked the crime wave reporting from this country comparing with last 20 years, and we can see that there is a drastical increase about some crimes during the financial crisis situation. Now we are facing this sort of situation. Now you know.
So in 2008, that's
a research. In that research, they didn't cover Sri Lanka.
Okay.
That is, they covered only 15 countries.
But not Sri Lanka.
Not Sri Lanka. In Asian continent, they covered Thailand and Philippines. Because those are the two countries highly affected by the recession. Now we are on that situation because in Sri Lanka we are facing a big recession after the independence. Now this situation, the impact happening on the social structure is very big, very vast. Crime is one of these factors.
So that's why that explains the growing lawlessness.
Yes, we have to expect that, because police have to adjust to this situation, because as a responsible police force,
how big is the force?
They have to focus this, because now there are so many researchers are there, and we have to focus this, and we have to act accordingly. But I have not seen anything happening in under these circumstances in current situation.
So why is the okay? There's a lot of several floating bodies have been found.
Yes.
Right. And then today we had this incident at Mount Lavinia Court.
Yeah, and last couple of months there were 17 gun killings.
That's right. So what's happening?
Because this also arousing, because of this underworld is getting active.
I'm going to ask you the obvious question.
Because this have to happen. Now you see, now we have 150,000 unemployment brigade joined to the society. Now, last 2 months, according to the statistics of the organization, there were 150,000 unemployed joined. Because people comes to town and they have no jobs.
Unemployed did what? Sorry.
Most of them are some daily workers.
Yeah,
150,000. That's approximately.
And what did they do?
Because now they have nothing to do.
So are you saying that they joined the ranks of the criminals?
Yes, no, it is obvious. No, when they come to city, if they have no jobs, when they are losing their day-to-day income, they have to do something for their survival. That is why the petty thefts are going the rise inside, and robberies, plus narcotic, drug, because this situation make a big impact on drug situation. One thing, the unemployment people, they get into the drug selling and transportation issues. And second thing, because of the frustration, because of this economical impact, make a severe frustration on their day-to-day life, and they get into for using more drugs, more liquor, and under these circumstances, the drug situation expand, and this will have a big impact on the society.
All right, but what's the police doing? Why are they doing anything?
No, the problem for us, today the police is facing a very crisis situation, because most of these police officers whom have to attend for these duties, combating crimes, doing patrols, watching criminals, supervising the hardcore criminals, and arresting people, now they can't do that, because of now they are mostly involving in the petrol sheds, gas queues, and protests to protect the state from the protesters. Because yes, a lot of people from rural areas like outstation have summoned to Colombo, and most of you can see now very hardly you get a policeman on the road for traffic control, because now they are mostly involving in the petrol sheds and the gas queues and other issues, because and police have to now, according to these circumstances, police totally forgot about day-to-day duty, and this will have a big impact on the rising of crime wave.
And then I wanted to ask you, you're one of the first and probably few people who came to the Gotago home, Gotago Gama, I think it's called, Golf Face, and you addressed the crowds and so on.
Yes.
Now then, I want to ask you, 1983, you would have been in full force. You were in the police.
Yes.
By 2022, you retired.
Yes.
But do you see a similarity between 83 and 2022?
No, 83 is a totally different issue. 83, after this Tinnaveli attack caused by the LTT against the army, there was an uprising coming from the south side, and it went spread, and most of these Tamil institutions were attacked, and it's a communal disturbance. But in 2022, people were agitated to throw out the government. That means they make a big noise to say that we don't want the current situation, because they were so frustrated, they were so badly affected to their economy. Then they came out to the road.
But nothing. You can't let your country down. So you can't drop your standards. Surely there's nothing in anyone's book that gives the right to these people who were protesting to then go out and attack state property and private property.
Exactly. There's no room for that. No room for that. I should very particularly, I'm saying that there's no room for lawlessness.
So why they declared an emergency? So why didn't the military, in conjunction with the police, take action to stop these things? Surely if we stop Prabhakaran in his tracks, why can't we stop these people?
But that is the biggest debacle happened during this period. But you see now, we went to go to government, address the people, address the youth, address the security forces also. We very particularly explain as a citizen, you have certain responsibilities to fulfill. And under this constitution, the right is again the protesting against the government, against what is government is doing. When the government is doing wrong, you are entitled for this protest. At the same time, as a security, the members of the security forces have certain responsibilities towards the citizen, because we are swear to protect the constitution of this country, and we can't, as a security forces, as a military or as a police, we can't violate the constitution.
But I found it unbelievable and almost implausible that one of the biggest institutions, the President's House, was overrun by people, however passionate they were. Overrun. But, we didn't. It's unbelievable that it happened.
Yeah.
Why did it happen?
No, that is why. That is the setback of this article. That is the setback of this article.
Yes, but it is a setback to the article, but it's actually more to the point. It's a setback to the law enforcement side.
No, actually, symbolically, when they captured the president's house and throw out the president and chase out the president, they should have immediately hand over that state property to the authority, because they have no rights to keep it in their hand, and they do what they want.
So let me stop you there. So now there are people being arrested for using presidential flag as his bedsheet, the beer mug, artifacts, marble balls, God knows what else. They're being charged. People who found money are being charged for, not for finding the money, but for breaking in. That's on the one side. Take your mind back to some couple of years ago, when Parliament, public property, was smashed. They smashed chairs and they threw chili powder and they caused destruction. Up to today,
no action.
No action.
Yes.
All talk, no action.
That's very correct. Your point is very correct. If anyone damaged the state property, he should be properly dealt with. Whether it is Aragakaru, whether it is the minister, whether it is the MP, whoever it is. That is the one law, one country under this concept.
Yeah.
Even all these officers, all these ministers or MPs who have disrupted this parliament and destroyed state property should have charge for public property as well as these other people also. This should happen, because when you are having double standard for two incidents, then people will agitate, people will get noise for these things. You are extremely correct. It should happen.
It never happened, and it sounds terrible. On one side, so I wanted to ask you, Senior DIG Priyantha Jayakody, what is the difference between the army and the police? Does the police get some special training to handle the public?
Yes.
And is that training not available to the army?
No, army also having certain issues, certain systems, because when the normal military training is there, police officers go to their training camps and they explain how to tackle with this civilian crowd, and these things were to them also. But in policemen were purely trained to always get involved with the public, the general public and the civilians.
Thank you very much for your questions on SMS or WhatsApp 0772 300 305. The police force is now about 11,000 personnel. Over the past few days, we have seen shootings with impunity. What is the police doing about it? Have they implemented or formulated countermeasures to stop these crimes?
Exactly, because the statistics is wrong first. The police the strength of the police force is over 85,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now police have to act very firmly against these shooters, because when I peruse those the particulars of the shooting incidents, we have found most of the shooting incidents happen among the different rival gangs on based on their business rivalries towards these drug men. But anyway, the police should act immediately. It's a responsibility of the Sri Lanka police to handle this sort of situation, because you can't allow this to happen continuously.
But having said that, the public are completely missed, because on one side you have the constitutional right to protest and to express what you feel. And having protested and at grave cost, having made some changes, obviously, clearly because of these the public unrest and the public dissatisfaction, we had one set of people resign, and another one who actually ran away, quite literally ran away,
Yes.
And then resigned. So, can you see it from the public's point of view that, now they having done that, they're still not satisfied because something else is wrong now?
Yes, protest and enjoying their rights given by the constitution is something else, and breaking the law and damaging to the state property or the private property is something else.
Two things.
Yeah, you'll have to differentiate these two very carefully. No one can say that because of the Aragalia we were allowed to damage the state property or destroy the state property.
Okay, look, let's go for a quick break, and then I'll come back and ask you this question. It's not time for the prime time news headlines, and we'll see you on the other side of the break, shall we? Before I forget.
Newsfirst, Newsline with Faraz Shaukat.
Citizen journalists, know your rights and limits.
සමාජ මාධ්‍ය ජාල හරහා පුරවැසි මාධ්‍යකරණය දැනුවත් විය යුතු නීතිමය රාමු අලලා සඳහන් කරන විශේෂ වැඩමුළුව අගෝස්තු 7 වෙනිදා අදම ලියාපදිංචි වන ප්‍රිමසි 076 388 2111
Organized by MIM, Maharaja Institute of Management.
Sri Lankan flag fly high as your opponent excel at Commonwealth Games. Having a great embrace, good work by the camera crew. The two Shrang of Sri Lanka. Sorry, injury. Shots fired inside Mount Lavinia Court Complex. Argalia protesters court prevent being removed from Godways. Released on bail, many factions take to the streets against the arrest of Joseph Stalin. Amnesty International says the right to peaceful protest must be protected. Busters use from tonight. China fires ballistic missiles into waters around Taiwan.
Newsfirst, Newsline with Faraz Shaukat.
And welcome back to Newsline Live, where I'm tonight in conversation with Senior DIG retired Priyantha Jayakody. It is in your day, of course, you were in charge of organized crime and serious crimes, weren't you?
Yes.
Sometimes we've seen during these troubles, we've seen the police sort of just standing by. Is it because they were overwhelmed, or is it because they were tacitly saying, come on, we support you?
Yeah, you can take this.
Which way do I look at it?
Yes, sometimes, because when we visited these sites, we have seen all the police officers. But for us, during the very inception, this Aragalia at Galface was very peaceful.
Yeah.
Because you see in South Korea, People were agitated over months and months to overthrow the government, but very peacefully. But what I observe is the latter part of this Aragale, there's something change. Because that is badly effect on the Aragale issue.
Okay.
Yes.
So you could say that they were supporting the public,
Yeah.
or you could say that they were overwhelmed and there was nothing they could do about it.
Yes.
Because there were too many people with too little police.
Yes. Okay. At the very
But of course, one police officer, God bless him, he took his helmet, threw it down, and he joined.
Two police officers.
Was two, right?
Yes.
Okay.
One is at Gorvis, one is at Mahargam.
That's right. I'm referring to one man.
Yeah, two police officers.
So that poor fellow. What do you think will happen to him? He won't get
because being a member of the police force under the police ordinance, they have no rights to do what they want.
Can't you? Do you think they'll forgive him?
Yes, that depends. But anyway, they have to be dealt with disciplinary,
Yes,
because we are a disciplinary force, police, and if you are not properly dealt with these sort of characters, you can't maintain the discipline because when we are making people discipline, the police have to be more disciplined.
Do you agree, SDIG Priyantha Jayakody, do you agree that the people were pushed against the wall? They had no other outlet.
Exactly.
And their only outlet was to go out there and scream their heads off and show their enforce, we are not happy with you.
This is not happened only in Sri Lanka.
No, I know
in 1978, it happened in Iran. And they throw out the very powerful Reja Pahlavi kingdom.
Yes, okay.
In Uganda, the people's power throw out the Idi Amin. But this is natural, because so many countries it happened. When the people were pushed towards the wall, there's no way to face rather than breaking the wall.
To be fair, the people of Sri Lanka didn't chuck Gota in a drain like Colonel Muammar Gaddafi.
Yes, when this incident happened in July 9th, at that time, until that moment, the people had no choice, because most of the people were on queues. There's no petrol, no gas, no food, no medicine, and what people can expect from the government?
Can I ask you this question? Because it's relevant. The chap who was arrested on the plane just before takeoff.
Yes.
Was that right? As a policeman, when you looked at that, was that right?
Process is exactly legal.
Okay.
Because he is on warrant.
Okay.
And under section 23 of the Criminal Procedure Code, you are empowered to arrest any person if you are believing that he is wanted for certain offence. You can arrest even you don't have the warrant
in your hand.
Because there is a police message sent from this particular police station to International Airport Travel Control Unit. That document itself is more than enough to arrest the person.
Do you think they should have showed it to the passenger and said, "Listen, we've got this. Put your hands out."
Now he was arrested by this police officer, and he makes the particular note under what circumstances he arrested, and if he is not satisfied, he can go before the Supreme Court and file a fundamental right
why
case.
Why didn't these people just turn up in their uniform and say, "Look, you're under arrest. This is the charge." Immediately handcuff him and avoided all that negative publicity?
No, usually the travel control unit, they are working on plain clothes.
Right.
And the CID officers who are attached to Bandaranaike International Airport are working on civil clothes. And both teams went to aircraft and make him arrest.
So there's nothing wrong.
When he opposed, they called the uniform police, the policeman who is in uniform, and arrested. His arrest in the aircraft is totally legal and it's correct.
According to procedure.
Under section 32 of the Criminal Procedure Code, it is enough to believe in that particular person is wanted for crime or he is on warrant, the belief in itself is more than enough for his.
Now I want to ask you another. Thank you for that. I'm sure it'll be well received out there. Now the next thing is this. As you said, the police are sort of inundated. They're overworked now because the crimes have gone there and
Yes.
their forces are only there. And so is there a sort of given process in which the various police teams are given some form of guidance on how to prioritize cases?
Yes.
How does that work?
Now in police force you have different sections, because during my time when I act as the DIG crimes and the organized crime,
Yeah.
we have organized crime combating teams, because this is the very particular specialized job.
Right.
And any normal police officers is not, I should say that, because you need a particular knowledge, the criminal intelligence, and you have certain abilities to combat these people. And for the special units were not functioning properly in these days because of this, the heavy work put on them for to safeguard this the security of the state. Under that circumstances, there is no room for them,
Right.
because that is the main reason for this particular crime wave.
Now you know I know you're retired, but the old intelligence must be working. Have you got any information about what these bodies are that wash up?
Not exactly for us, because I didn't went through in detail, but it's a responsibility of the state to prove that who are they, under what circumstances they died, whether it is tragic circumstances or the natural death, whether it's a drowning case, whether it's they were killed, everything have to disclose by. That's a responsibility of the state to protect the rights of the people, whether they are live or dead.
In the spirit of reconciliation, in the spirit of, look, the people are utterly, totally distressed. There are no dollars. It's now an economic nightmare. They are unhappy that there are people who are unhappy that the president is who he is, and they have their reasons why they're unhappy. All that put into one side. In the spirit of unity and looking forward, the president's calling for national government. In that same spirit, don't you think that it's a good idea to save face and to show some trust and say, look, we give you a blanket amnesty and we won't be prosecuting everyone? Thank you very much.
Yes, this has happened in so many countries now. After this South African struggle, lesson learned commission, Truth Commission, they were pardoned for so many people on the rebellion side as well as the security forces. Under these circumstances, if you are really need the real reconciliation, under these
because honestly, these people,
yes,
were some of these protesters
because
who got out of hand.
definitely the people who are involved in the Aragalia should be part and parcel of this future government. That have to happen because they made a big noise against the situation. They need a changing of system. And
so they changed the guard. But
yeah.
now they find some of these people are finding themselves being arrested.
Yeah.
And it leaves a very sour, a bitter taste in your mouth, doesn't it?
But even this arrest should happen according to the law of the country.
No, I understand that. What I'm saying is,
yes,
to kind of say, okay, peace, and let's forgive and forget.
That is why I came to know that Mr. Sumantiran, representing the Tamil Alliance,
yes,
he have made this Tamil National Alliance. He made this suggestion to the president when he made for the reconciliation process. First, pardon them and get them also involving in this process of making a country. That is very needed thing today for us.
Will it happen?
It should happen. If you are going for a reconciliation, if you want to really make this country's future good, definitely all these people have to get together without considering their political differences.
As a retired, it is in the last final minute now, as a retired senior police officer, and having observed what you have observed, what's your message to the public out there?
Yes, for us as a senior citizen of this country and experienced government servant, what I should say, the people have to obey the law of the country. Because you can have any sort of revolutions, but the state should remain for tomorrow. Under these circumstances, the people have to obey the law. You need the one country, one law policy. It have to be implemented strongly, not with the double standard. One standard for the MPs who have destroyed the parliament and one standard to the people who have went and encroached the president house and damaged the state property, because both are doing the same thing.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Senior DIG retired, Priyantha Jayakody. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Faraz. Thank you very much.
And it's now time for a short message and then the primetime news from News First for the 9 o'clock news. Take care. Thank you for watching. And as always, God bless you all.